What if I told you that the most unexpected, unstoppable, and secretly calculated power move in hip-hop history didn't just create chart-topping hits? It built a billion-dollar empire from absolutely nothing? This isn't just about music. This is betrayal, loyalty, business wars, silent enemies, and two legends, Eminem and 50 Cent, who went from street survival and industry rejection to running the entire game. But behind the scenes, it wasn't always brotherhood and success. There were heated arguments over money, explosive meetings that almost destroyed everything, and powerful executives who tried to break them apart because together, they were too dangerous. Fans think they know the story. Eminem signed 50 Cent, they made hits, end of story. Wrong. What if I told you Eminem risked his entire career to protect 50? What if I told you 50 once accused Eminem of betrayal? What if I told you there was a secret deal that could have made one of them the sole owner of the brand and the other completely powerless? And the craziest part? They almost walked away from each other forever. How did two men with nothing build an empire worth billions tonight? We expose everything. Before the billion-dollar empire, before the global takeover, before the world even knew their names, there were two men fighting for survival in completely different worlds. One was battling his own demons while being crushed by the music industry. The other was dodging bullets in the streets of South Jamaica, Queens. Neither of them knew it yet, but their destinies were about to collide in a way that would change hip-hop forever. Back in the late 90s, Eminem was already a lyrical monster, but the industry didn't want him. Labels told him, "You're too different. You don't fit the image. Rap fans won't accept you." He was living in poverty, struggling to feed his daughter Haley, on the verge of giving up. He slept on floors, battled depression, even attempted to end it all. He had nothing. Meanwhile, in Queens, 50 Cent was the exact opposite energy. Aggressive, fearless, magnetic. But he had no backing. He was moving product to survive, making enemies in the streets, and already had a reputation as someone you don't cross. He started rapping not for fame, but because it was the only way out. But when he released How to Rob, calling out every rapper in the industry, he burned bridges before they even existed. The industry blacklisted him. No label wanted the troublemaker. He too had nothing. Two different worlds. Same pain, same hunger, but destiny doesn't care about distance. When Dr. Dre discovered Eminem, it created a ripple effect that would eventually lead to 50 Cent. But at that time, even Dre was risking everything. Executives at Interscope told him, "Why are you signing this white kid? He'll ruin your legacy." Dre didn't care. He believed. Eminem got his shot, but success came with pressure. Suddenly, he was the face of controversy. Lawsuits, protests, censorship, death threats. The media painted him as a villain. He was rich, but still felt alone. In 2002, everything changed. Eminem was hosting meetings, listening to demo tapes from new artists. Most he threw away, but one CD stopped him cold. It was from an unknown rapper out of Queens, raw, ruthless, powerful. Every line sounded like a man with nothing to lose. Eminem stood up in the studio and said one sentence that shook the room. "Who the hell is 50 Cent?" Shady Records scrambled. They found out 50 had just been shot 9 times and survived. The industry thought he was finished. He had no label, no budget, nothing. But he dropped mixtapes like a man possessed. Every DJ in New York had his name buzzing. The streets knew he was next. Eminem was intrigued, but 50 was hesitant. In a dimly lit room in New York, Eminem and 50 Cent finally met face to face. There was no handshake at first. Just silence, tension, two alpha energies sizing each other up. Eminem spoke first. "I don't want to own you. I want to build with you." 50 leaned back. A lot of people said that before. Eminem looked him dead in the eyes. "Yeah, but those people ain't me." That moment was the birth of an empire. But it wasn't smooth. Behind the scenes, there was major resistance. Executives tried to stop it. They told Eminem, "This guy has too many enemies. Signing him is a risk to your brand." They told Dr. Dre, "Why back another controversial artist? Haven't we had enough lawsuits?" They told 50 Cent, "Sign with someone else. Eminem won't understand you." But Eminem didn't care. He flew to meet 50 in person. He offered something no one else did: full creative control, profit share, and loyalty. He didn't just offer a deal. He offered partnership. However, 50's team wasn't fully convinced. Some people in his circle warned him, "Bro, you really gonna let a white rapper be your boss? What if he uses you?" Even his own friends tried planting seeds of doubt. And on Eminem's side, some of his camp questioned why he would risk everything for a street rapper with a target on his back. They said 50 would bring danger, controversy, and chaos into Eminem's career. One team meeting got heated. One shady records manager yelled, "We already have the government watching us. We can't handle more trouble." Eminem slammed the table and shouted, "I don't care. 50 is the future." Silence. No one argued after that. It was official. Eminem and Dr. Dre signed 50 Cent in a joint deal, one of the smartest business moves in hip-hop history. But this is where things got interesting. The streets found out 50 Cent signed with Eminem. Ja Rule, Murder Inc., and other rivals took it as an act of war. Suddenly, 50 was in the middle of a full-blown street and industry beef. Diss tracks, threats, tension everywhere. Most labels would have backed off. But Eminem didn't back off. He stood beside 50 publicly, performed with him, defended him in interviews. 50 wasn't just his artist. He became family. Meanwhile, 50 started learning from Eminem how to structure songs, how to control media, how to build a brand. But Eminem also learned something from 50: fearlessness, survival instinct, and how to turn enemies into fuel. Together, they were unstoppable, but still broke compared to the giants of the industry. That's when they made a decision that changed everything. Music is just the start. We're building a business. They didn't want rapper money. They wanted mogul money. So they started connecting with lawyers, investors, tech companies, product developers, and film studios. They studied Jay-Z, Diddy, Dr. Dre. They planned something big. But before the empire came the storm. Because success brings enemies. As 50's debut album, Get Rich or Die Tryin', exploded and broke records, money started pouring in. Millions, then tens of millions. And that's when the paranoia started. People in the industry whispered, Eminem is taking a larger cut than 50. Others said, 50 is getting all the shine, Eminem is being used. Blogs wrote articles about the secret contract. Fans started picking sides. Inside the camp, certain people started spreading rumors to break them apart. High-level executives tried offering 50 his own label without Eminem. They waved millions in front of him. You don't need him. Be your own boss. Some even reached out to Eminem with similar offers. Drop 50 before he drags you down. The empire wasn't even fully built yet, and people were already trying to destroy it. One night, everything almost fell apart. In a private studio meeting in Los Angeles, 50 confronted Eminem. "Are you making more off me than I know about?" Eminem froze. "What?" "You heard me," 50 said coldly. "I keep hearing things, I need the truth." Eminem's voice got quiet. "After everything I did for you, you really think I'd snake you?" 50 stared at him. The room was silent. Then prove it. That moment changed everything. Not only did Eminem prove his loyalty, he showed 50 the books, the contracts, the splits. He even revealed he gave 50 a bigger percentage than everyone else on the label. 50 sat back stunned. "Why would you do that?" Eminem shrugged. "Because if you win, we all win." That's how empires are built. That conversation didn't break them. It made them stronger. And from that day forward, their mission was clear. They weren't just making music. They were going to build a billion-dollar empire together, but the world had no idea what was coming next. And the first major move of their empire would shake the entire industry to its core. With their loyalty now solidified, Eminem and 50 Cent were ready to do what no rapper duo had done before: turn hip-hop into a corporation. Not a label, not a crew. An empire, and the first power move? The deal that shocked the entire music industry: G-Unit Records. This wasn't just a label. It was a machine. Eminem, 50 Cent, and Dr. Dre crafted a structure that had never been done before. Dre oversaw production and business strategy. Eminem handled creative direction and marketing. 50 was the face, the energy, the leader of the streets. But here's the genius. Instead of just signing artists, 50 created a brand. G-Unit was more than music. Clothing, DVDs, merch, mixtapes, global tours. They used the streets and the mainstream. They sold authenticity. They sold culture. They sold dominance. G-Unit clothing alone made over $100 million in its first year. The industry panicked. Labels were furious. How could a new label with no backing outsell established fashion brands? Corporations couldn't understand how two rappers were suddenly outsmarting billion-dollar companies. But Eminem and 50 knew why. They didn't follow the system. They built their own. And just when it looked like this empire was bulletproof, The first betrayal came from inside. It started small. Missed meetings, strange behavior, people whispering behind closed doors. One of the top executives in their circle, a man they trusted, was secretly working with a major label. Executives in their circle, a man they trusted, was secretly working with a major label. Competitor. He leaked contracts. He leaked future deals. He even tried sabotaging the G-Unit clothing distribution partnership by telling investors 50 Cent was unstable and Eminem was stepping away from the brand. Why? Because he was offered a 7-figure bribe to destroy them from the inside. This was war. One night, 50 confronted him during a private meeting in New York. It wasn't polite. It wasn't calm. Why are you playing both sides? 50 said, staring him down. The exec tried to deny it. I don't know what you're talking about. Boom. 50 slammed his hand on the table so hard the entire room froze. We know everything. The man panicked. He started sweating. Eminem stepped in, voice low, cold. We trusted you. You tried to sell us out. The exec begged. It's not what it looks like. 50 leaned in. It's exactly what it looks like. You're fired. Right now. Security threw him out. But the damage was done. Their private plans were exposed. Rival labels started making moves. Deals fell apart. Millions were lost, and this was just the beginning. Because right when they needed unity the most, the worst possible thing happened. Their brotherhood was tested again. Eminem's life started spiraling. Fame had reached insane levels. Every lyric he wrote turned into a lawsuit. Paparazzi followed him everywhere. His family life was falling apart. Kim, Haley, the pressure. The tabloids. The addiction. The rumors of retirement. Eminem started disappearing. Missing calls. Missing meetings. 50 was worried but also frustrated. G-Unit was exploding and he needed his partner. Then it got worse. Eminem entered rehab. The media went insane. Eminem is done. Shady Records will collapse. 50 Cent abandoned by his mentor. Even fans panicked. Online forums blew up. Is this the end of the empire? 50 flew to Detroit immediately. He didn't care about business. He cared about loyalty. He visited M in a private facility. When he walked in, Eminem looked exhausted, pale, weak, depressed. 50 closed the door. No cameras. No team, just them. 50 sat down. You good? Eminem was silent. 50 leaned forward. Listen to me. Forget the music. Forget the money. I need you alive, that's it. Eminem's eyes got watery. I feel like I'm losing everything. 50 shook his head. Nah, this empire doesn't exist without you. So we'll wait. Business can pause, you come first. That moment sealed their bond forever. But while Eminem was gone, 50 stepped up. He took over business meetings. He pushed G-Unit solo. He signed new artists. He built vitamin water partnerships. He expanded into films. He wasn't just a rapper, he was becoming a CEO. And then, the move that changed the empire forever. The vitamin water deal. Coca-Cola came knocking to buy Vitamin Water's parent company, Glacio. For $4, $1 billion, 50 Cent didn't just do a sponsorship, he had ownership. He took a percentage of the company instead of a basic paycheck. When the deal closed, 50 made $100 million in one day. Fans were shocked. The industry was speechless. Rappers were confused. How did he do that? Simple. Eminem and 50 studied the business game. They didn't want quick money. They wanted long money, ownership, equity, legacy. But success makes you a target. And soon, the government got involved. They started investigating 50's finances. How did a rapper make $100 million? They asked. They suspected criminal activity. They looked into his past. They dug through everything. Suddenly, 50 was facing federal attention. Meetings with lawyers, IRS audits, stress beyond belief, and where was Eminem? Still recovering. Still quiet. Still battling his own demons. 50 felt alone. Rumors started again. 50 is doing shady business. Eminem is distancing himself. Shady aftermath is falling apart. Then came the biggest twist yet. One of their own friends, someone from Detroit, went to the media and said, Eminem and 50 are only partners in public. Behind the scenes, they're fighting over money. That lie exploded across the internet. Fans believed it. Blogs ran with it. Radio stations debated it. Even other rappers added fuel. The fans were split. Eminem is the real legend. 50 made the business moves. Eminem made 50. No, 50 kept Eminem relevant. Social media became a battleground. The empire was now surrounded by hate, rumors, and pressure. And at the worst possible moment, a phone call changed everything. 50 picked up. "Yo, we got a problem." It was Paul Rosenberg, Eminem's manager. "What kind of problem?" 50 asked. "The kind that could destroy everything." There was a silence. Paul took a deep breath. "Someone is trying to take the company from both of you." 50's heart dropped. "Who?" Paul hesitated, then said the name. A name 50 never expected. A name Eminem trusted. A name inside their own circle. 50's voice turned cold. "If this is true, we're going to war." Paul said something even crazier. "They already filed the paperwork." 50 stood up. "Then it's already war." And just like that, the empire was under attack, from the inside. The moment Paul Rosenberg told 50 Cent, "Someone is trying to take the company from both of you," everything froze. This wasn't just beef. This wasn't a diss track. This was a corporate coup. Someone was trying to legally strip Eminem and 50 from the empire they built. And the craziest part? The person behind it was someone they never suspected. For years, there was a highly respected executive in their inner circle, someone who handled contracts, investments, partnerships. Eminem trusted him like family. 50 Cent listened to his advice during multi-million-dollar meetings. This man had access to everything. He wasn't an outsider. He was one of the original architects of the empire. But success changes people. Instead of being grateful for being part of something historic, he wanted more. He believed he was the true genius, that he should be in control, that Eminem and 50 were just artists, while he was the businessman. So he made a plan. Step 1, slowly gain more signatures, control, and access to assets. Step 2, use legal loopholes to transfer power. Step 3, force Eminem and 50 out of their own empire. Quietly. There were forged signatures, secret meetings with investors, boardroom votes Eminem and 50 didn't even know about. He almost pulled it off. Almost. Because one sloppy mistake exposed everything. He accidentally CC'd the wrong email on a confidential message, one that detailed how he planned to phase out Eminem and 50 Cent from the board. That email landed in the hands of Paul Rosenberg. Paul didn't even believe it at first. He thought it had to be fake. But when he dug deeper, the truth was worse than they imagined. He was already talking to competitors. He was negotiating a sell-off of major G-Unit and shady assets without telling them. He was offering control of some of their IP to outside companies. He wanted to replace Eminem and 50 with himself. Paul immediately called 50. "Bro, he's trying to steal everything." 50 didn't even reply. He just hung up. He booked a flight. 2 hours later, he was pounding on the trader's office door. The man opened it, nervous. 50, "Hey, let's talk." 50 didn't wait. He grabbed him by the collar and shoved him into the wall. "You think I'm stupid?" 50 growled. "You think I wouldn't find out?" The exec tried to stay calm. "It's not what it looks like." 50 pushed harder. "It's exactly what it looks like." Security rushed in, but 50 waved them off. "Don't move, this is family business." At that moment, Eminem walked in. Everyone froze. Em wasn't yelling. He wasn't aggressive. He was quiet. And that was worse. He just stared at the trader. Eyes cold, empty, disappointed. "Why?" Eminem asked softly. The exec stuttered. I built this with you. I deserve more." Eminem shook his head. "You deserve nothing you had to steal," the man snapped. "You would be nothing without me. I made your deals happen. I protected you both." 50 stepped toward him, fists clenched. But Eminem raised his hand. "No, let me handle this." The room went silent. Eminem took a deep breath and said the most powerful line of the entire empire. "You forgot one thing. We built this on loyalty, and the minute you broke that, you lost everything." Then 50 spoke, voice deadly calm. "You're done. Legally, financially, publicly, forever." And they meant it. Within 48 hours, they executed a full takedown strategy. All access revoked. Lawyers unleashed. Every document reviewed. Every share frozen. Every investor warned. The trader tried to fight back, but he was buried by evidence, fraud, forgery, conspiracy. He was lucky they didn't press criminal charges. They didn't need to ruin him in court, because they were about to ruin him in the industry. Word spread quietly but powerfully. This man was not to be trusted. Labels blacklisted him. Investors ghosted him. No one wanted to be tied to the man who tried to overthrow Eminem and 50 Cent. He went from boardrooms to complete irrelevance. But even after removing the traitor, the damage remained. The empire had cracks, trust issues, legal messes, broken relationships, millions lost. And inside the empire, tension grew again. Because during the chaos, 50 made decisions without telling Eminem. He moved money. He dissolved partnerships. He cut off people he suspected. He acted aggressively to protect the brand. Some of those people were Eminem's friends. M snapped. One day in the studio, Eminem confronted 50. "We're supposed to be partners," he said. "Why are you making moves without telling me?" 50 fired back. "Because while you were gone, I had to protect everything by myself." Eminem raised his voice. "That doesn't mean you get to act like you own it." 50 stepped forward. "You think I wanted to do this alone? You think I didn't need you there? Do this alone? You think I didn't need you there?" The argument exploded. "You're too emotional! You're too controlling. You don't listen. You don't show up when it matters." They stood chest to chest. Years of stress, pain, loyalty, and resentment crashed in one moment. Then, Eminem said the words 50 never thought he'd hear. "Maybe this empire doesn't need both of us anymore." 50 froze. Eminem stared at him. "I'm tired. I'm done fighting. Maybe I should walk away." 50's voice dropped. "You're not serious." Eminem looked away. "Maybe I am." 50 stepped back. He wasn't angry anymore. He was disappointed. "So that's it? After everything? You're just gonna quit?" Eminem didn't respond. 50 shook his head slowly. "I didn't do all this to become a boss. I did it because you believed in me when no one else did. I built this empire for both of us." Eminem looked broken. "I don't know if I can keep going." 50 took a deep breath. "What if I gave you a reason?" Eminem frowned. "What?" 50's voice steadied. "What if we stopped thinking like rappers and started thinking like billionaires?" Eminem blinked. "What are you talking about?" 50 leaned forward. "I found something. A move bigger than music. Bigger than vitamin water. Bigger than anything we've ever done." Eminem didn't speak. 50 smiled. "We're about to own something that will make us untouchable." Eminem hesitated. "What is it?" 50 whispered 2 words. Eminem's eyes widened. "Are you serious?" 50 nodded. "If we do this, we become legends." Eminem stared at him for a long moment. Then, he smiled. "Let's do it." 50 smirked. "Welcome back." And just like that, the empire was alive again. But what was the move? What was the plan that would take them from millions to billions? When 50 leaned in and whispered the 2 words that would change everything, Eminem's entire energy shifted. He wasn't tired anymore. He wasn't depressed. He was hungry again. What were the 2 words? Global ownership. Not music. Not merch. Not drinks, entertainment, media, technology. 50 laid it out like a CEO. Jay-Z owns Rock Nation. Diddy owns Revolt. Dre sold beats for billions. Why are we letting them make all the moves? We have the most loyal fan base in hip-hop history. If we control content, we control the culture. Eminem nodded slowly. "So what's the play?" 50 grinned. "We build our own platform, studios, streaming, movies, documentaries, podcasts, TV networks, everything under one banner." Eminem smirked. "A shady G-Unit universe?" 50 snapped his fingers. "Now you get it." But this wouldn't be easy. This wasn't just dropping albums. This was war with billion-dollar corporations, Hollywood elites, and tech giants. They needed strategy, funding, allies, and full trust in each other. So they built a plan that would take years to execute. Step 1, clean house. Every weak link, every snake, every disloyal exec, gone. Step 2, restructure the company. New board, new lawyers, new infrastructure. Step 3, acquire failing media companies quietly and rebuild them under their brand. Step 4, create a content pipeline. Sign young creators, artists, writers, producers. Step 5, launch a global platform that merges music, film, sports, fashion, and technology. But right as the plan began, the family drama hit. Eminem's daughter Haley had grown up watching her father fight the world, and now she wanted in. She wanted to help build the future of the brand. She had ideas, connections, a fresh perspective. Eminem was proud, but protective. He told her, "This isn't just business. This is war." She replied, "Then teach me how to win." 50 loved the idea. She's smart. She's fearless. She's one of us. But some old school members of the team didn't like it. She's too young. She's inexperienced. She'll ruin deals. One executive even dared to say, keeping it in the family is a mistake. Eminem snapped, "She is the future. If you can't respect that, you can leave." People left. The empire tightened. Meanwhile, 50 faced his own family drama, his oldest son. They were estranged. Years of tension, public arguments, interviews, heartbreak. But 50 started to think differently. If this empire is going to be generational, I need to fix this. He reached out. No cameras, no press. Just a father trying to make it right. The meeting was awkward, emotional, real. 50 said, "I've built everything except a relationship with you. That's my biggest failure." His son didn't speak at first, then said something 50 wasn't ready for. "So, do you want a son back? Or just a business partner?" 50 froze. Then he said, "I want my son back. Business can come later." For the first time, healing began. The empire was evolving. It wasn't just businesses and deals anymore. It was legacy, family, future. And that's when the master plan activated. They launched studios in Detroit, New York, LA's London. They signed young directors, writers, entertainers. They built film deals with streaming companies, but kept majority ownership. They created shady films, G-Unit Media. They partnered with gaming companies, invested in startups, launched podcasts that broke records. But the power move was next level. They created The Unit, a tech-driven, hybrid streaming platform merging music, film, exclusive content, live shows, and direct artist-to-fan distribution. No middlemen, no gatekeepers. Direct ownership. Labels panicked. Networks panicked. Streaming platforms panicked. Because if The Unit succeeded, Eminem and 50 Cent would control the pipeline of entertainment worldwide. And guess who came knocking? Silicon Valley. Tech billionaires wanted in. Venture capitalists offered insane money. One company offered $800 million for a minority share. 50 laughed. $1 billion just to talk. Eminem said something legendary. "We're not selling out. We're buying in." And they did. They started buying stakes in tech companies before launching The Unit, AI startups, VR platforms, music distribution tools, editing software, NFT and blockchain infrastructure. They built an ecosystem. So when The Unit launched, they didn't just drop an app. They launched a global digital empire. Fans went crazy. Millions of signups in weeks. Artists begged to join. Directors pitched movies. Athletes wanted shows. Rappers, they were begging for deals. And the wildest twist? Major corporations who once tried to stop Eminem and 50 now begged to partner with them. Full circle. But before the celebration came the final test of loyalty. Because someone close to them tried to sell The Unit code to competitors. Another inside betrayal. This time, it wasn't business. It was personal. 50 said, "Let me handle this." Eminem said, "No, this time, we handle it together." They called everyone into the boardroom. The traitor walked in, confused. Eminem and 50 were both there, calm. Eminem started. "We've been betrayed before. We've lost money, time, trust." 50 leaned forward. "But this empire? It's different. It's not just ours." Eminem nodded. "It belongs to everyone who believed in us." 50 stared at the traitor. "And if you try to take it, we'll bury you." The man trembled. I made a mistake." Eminem cut him off. "No, you made a choice." Security escorted him out. Eminem and 50 looked at each other. No words, just respect. Just power. Just legacy. And then came the moment the empire officially hit billion-dollar status. Forbes called them the most powerful duo in entertainment. Investors called them visionaries. The industry called them a problem. Fans called them unmatched. Everyone else? They just called them legends from poverty and bullets, to rehab and betrayal, to boardrooms and billion-dollar dominance. They didn't just make music. They changed the game. But the craziest part? They're still not done. Because Eminem and 50 Cent didn't just build an empire, they built a blueprint. And now the question is, who's next to follow it? And just like that, two kids from nothing, one from the broken streets of Detroit, the other from the ruthless blocks of Southside Jamaica. Queens turned survival into strategy, struggle into power, and pain into a billion-dollar empire. Eminem and 50 Cent didn't just change hip-hop, They rewrote the business blueprint forever. They turned loyalty into leverage. They turned trauma into trademarks. From record-breaking albums to TV empires, from clothing lines to Hollywood deals, from tech investments to streaming dominance, they proved you don't need the industry to love you when you own the industry. But here's the real question. Is the empire truly untouchable? Because even though they've built something no one can deny, there are still threats in the shadows. Lawsuits, jealous rivals, corporate snakes waiting for the perfect moment to divide them. And fans have noticed, Eminem isn't as visible. 50 is moving like a chess master. Some insiders claim a new power move is coming. Some say a final partnership deal might change everything again. Will they drop one last global joint venture and cement their legacy forever? Or will silence turn into distance? And distance turn into the end of the most powerful alliance in hip-hop history? One thing is certain, this story is far from over, and now, we want to hear from you. Do you think Eminem and 50 Cent will launch another massive business move together? Do you think their empire is stronger than ever or hanging by a thread? Should they drop one more album? One more show? One more takeover? Let us know in the comments right now. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into one of hip-hop's greatest empires, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Because the next chapter of this story could drop any second. Channel and turn on notifications. Because the next chapter of this story could drop any second.